Hello.
Good
Good evening.
evening, Professor. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good here. It's Sunday morning, rainy, cold.
Yeah, I think we are blessed with the weather this weekend. It's not really that cold, and I remember last weekend was so cold. I think temperature was in 6 or 7, but this time this is really great.
That's good. That's good to hear. In North America, we had a cold front last week,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is in Celsius because we refused to learn the metric system. Um, Americans did, but it was in the minus. One place was like a minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's pretty bad. I think last week or the week before, but it's warming up now, so that's a good thing. So we're I know people. Mhm.
Usually here the weather is good, so it's usually between 15 up to 23 degrees Celsius all the time. Doesn't go below that, above that.
So I think 23 is kind of like 70 something Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Um, as we're waiting for the rest of our classmates to arrive, I'm going to start with some questions from last week's lecture, quiz, assignment, and I do have some notes, some things I want to share with you. So anybody have any questions or comments from last week? Everyone don't speak at once.
So I have a question, Professor, about listing all the restaurants in my area, because if I chose the different business for my business plan,
Mhm.
does it points out to really listing all those businesses, or is it really restaurants?
So are you talking about the team project?
No, not the theme project, in the individual exercises in 4, and that's why I stopped yesterday, because I wanted this clarification from you. It says that I need to list restaurants in my community. That's what I mean. If I am in the university, then campus, but since I'm in community, then in the community how many restaurants I have. But then that's not really going with the business I chose. It's like a different business.
Yes,
So
that's okay. And I'm glad you asked that question. What you're doing with the individual exercises, there are a couple of things that you're doing with the individual exercises.
okay.
Um, so part of an MBA program is to ensure that you're able to communicate effectively in writing,
Got it.
and you're able to apply analytical skills to writing. So that's what you're doing with the individual assignment. The experience of you looking at restaurants is going to help you to work on your business plan. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same restaurant. It's just an exercise so you can get practice in evaluating competition.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sure. I'll list then restaurants only. Okay. All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
and to your point, Samia, I did open up week 4's assignment for an additional 7 days so
Okay.
that you can go in and make any changes that you need to make.
Yes, yeah. Because I felt as I started doing it yesterday, it needs more analysis of really how that, what my competitors are, even though I had created a rough map, but still it need more analysis of local businesses and how they're doing and what are the pros and cons of that particular business. So yeah, definitely more analysis needed. Thank you so much for giving that additional time.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It is what I'm trying to do is that you're getting these exercises that you can be a good contributor to your team collaboration.
Correct.
So you've done things on your own that you're going to bring to the table when you collaborate with the rest of your team members. And restaurants is a good idea because many of us, or most of us, we go to restaurants and we rate them and we see what's going great, what's not so great, and so forth. So it is your experience. The other thing about writing is that in business, your writing skills are paramount. So if you're an MBA student, if you are planning to compete in a global market, your writing skills have to be on point. So that's why in my feedback to you, I'll say things like use Grammarly, because Grammarly helps to tighten up your writing. You're going to be writing not only to your colleagues, but to your clients, and your writing skills have to be good. You have to have really good writing skills. Some of us write better than we speak. I think myself, some of us speak better than we write. So with me, I write better than I speak, I believe. People might say that's not true. But in my job as a consultant, I do a lot of writing to my colleagues, to our leaders, to our clients, to their leaders. So you have the opportunity in my class to practice your writing skills, practice how to communicate, practice how to do an analysis and communicate that to different stakeholders. So I'm not giving you a writing assignment so that to make you angry or upset or frustrated. You're going to find out that your writing skills have improved because you're conducting critical thinking about a subject, and then you're putting your thoughts into writing that is coherent, concise, and tight in terms of grammar. And that's where Grammarly comes in, as I said before. So I want you to continue on that path. In terms of the writing, I do have a couple notes, and then we'll start the lecture. Let me see how many people are here. People are still coming in. Is that a lot of you, when I see the submission, there are grammatical errors, and that comes from a lot of different places, because people who have English as their first language, they still write and have grammatical errors, including myself. So what Grammarly does, it takes your writing and it reformulates it into something that's grammatically correct. And that's why you should always run your writing through a spell checker and through a grammar checker. And that's why I recommended Grammarly. It is free. You should run all of your writing through Grammarly before you submit it. So I just wanted to make sure that you're not doing the same thing every week. I noticed that some people I have my notes about using Grammarly, and the next time I see the submission, Grammarly is not used. Or I say, make sure you use the APA format. It is required in terms of an MBA program and in terms of college writing. That is the format that you have to use. It's not something I made up. It's just something that is a standard for higher education, is that you use APA. And I think in some cases, students are using it in high school. So that is the format that your submission should be in. I gave you a sample template. And here's some general feedback. The title page is formatted a certain way. Like the title of the paper is in bold. It's a certain way. Your paragraph headings have to be bold and centered. Your paragraphs have to be indented. Paragraphs are 3 to 5 sentences. If you have one sentence, it's not a paragraph. So 3 to 5 sentences. Your references have to be formatted a certain way. So make sure that you revisit the APA sample paper that I provided and format accordingly. If I find myself giving you the same feedback every week and there's no change, I've been pretty generous in grading you because for some of you, this was new, but it is a requirement for college writing to use that format. And most of you have adhered to it. You're getting there, getting closer and closer. But if I continue to give you the same feedback every week and there's no change, or you're just doing the same thing over and over, your grade will reflect that. Now, the APA is not a huge part of your grade, but it is important. So please make sure that you are looking at the notes that you get from your feedback and you are acting accordingly. Mohammed, I see you have a question. What is it?
Yes, Dr. Patricia. Grammarly is free, yes, and it is it's correcting to some extent what we are writing, yes, but it looks that there is other parts that always he is showing that there are some more changes that he can do to the complete sentence or to the complete dialogue, but this is with fees. I mean, we have to pay yearly fees.
Yeah, no, you don't have to use that part. It's just saying that if, you know, it's the Grammarly that's free is very basic. Your sentences will be correct. The fee part is just saying if you want it to be, you know, another level, then you can pay. That's not what I'm saying. The basic Grammarly is what you need. Okay, between Grammarly and the spell check in Microsoft Word or in Google Docs is sufficient. Okay.
Thank you very much. This is the one I'm using, but just maybe because you mentioned this one several times, so it looks that I just wanted to ask, maybe I still have to use the other part as well, but now it is okay. It's very clear.
It's okay. As long as you do, you got to do two checks. Make sure you check it in the spell check in Microsoft Word. And Microsoft Word also has an editor that will give you, you know, recommendations, and then Grammarly. So that way you got the best possible outcome. So continue to do that. Samia, you have a question.
Yes, Professor. So I'm sorry, I'm just a little late in checking my assignment too. I know you are suggesting me Grammarly there, but I always use Grammarly. I'm using Grammarly from, I think, a couple of years now. And I always run through and make sure that I'm really making all the corrections as it suggests and also as Word suggest. But you suggested me in the assignment, so I'm just bringing it up here.
Yes, and it may be that my Grammarly might be more advanced, so I can take a look at it again to make sure that you're doing the basic corrections, and you're also doing it in you're also doing spell check as well.
Yes, both.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, I also sent out an email last week. I sent out 2 emails. One of them was to refocus you on the individual assignment because some of it didn't really apply. So I sent that out in an email. The second email I sent out was if you found that you were having challenges in the class, we can set up a one-on-one so we can discuss that. So that's still available. Some of you joined the class later. I know that as adults, we have different responsibilities. My job is to help you to win and to succeed, not only in this class, but in life. So please avail yourself of that. If you need to meet with me one-on-one, I'm available on WhatsApp, or we can set up a Teams thing and meet. So let's make sure we stay on task. I've got a lot of Teams open up here. Let me get back to you guys. The last thing I'll say before I start the lecture is that, and make sure that I will extend the assignment because of, you know, extenuating circumstances, but make sure that you're caught up. You don't want to always submit assignments late because then you can always be behind the 8 ball. So make sure that you're, you know, you're staying on task. The last thing I'll say is that I did submit in the Teams portion, and I'll show you that in Moodle. I submitted a team evaluation form.
I think there is some technical issue.
Yes, I think we should text her on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I got kicked out for some reason. You guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, let me go into Moodle. Alrighty, so give me a thumbs up if you're able to see the Moodle. Are you guys able to see the Moodle screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent. All right, so this is what I added last week. It's a team member assessment, which will be assessing your team members as well as yourself. So this is the form that you'll complete at the end of the semester, but it's good to take a look at what you'll be assessing. So I have the different teams, NASA or NASO here. So we have all the team members in here. And then you're going to evaluate from 1 to 5, 1 being poor and 5 being exceptional, different criteria. So the first one is teamwork and collaboration. You're gonna assess yourself and others how well you perform teamwork and collaboration. You're gonna move down to the second category, communications. How well you perform in terms of communicating with your team members.
Dr. Patricia,
Yes.
can you return back from the beginning to this page, because I don't know where to find this page? Can you just return one page or one step before and just look? I'll go into this page so at least I see how I can look into it.
Okay, are you able to see, I'm on Moodle. Are you able to see that? Are you guys able to see the Moodle page?
Yes,
Yes, we
yes.
can see.
Okay, so this is the Moodle page. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the Teams section.
Where is the team section as well?
It's on the Moodle page, is at the bottom of the screen. So I'm on Moodle. This is a class.
Yes.
And then I scroll all the way down the screen to the bottom where I have teams.
Oh, after the weeks. Okay, okay. After the different weeks. Okay.
Yes.
Till we reach teams. Yes.
Correct. So each team is here. And then we have, this is the templates for the business plan. This is the presentation that you're going to submit. This is a team assessment that you're going to conduct at the end of the semester. So if I click on it, it's going to take me to a link. And I click on that, and that's where I was. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going, I think I was at communications. You're going to assess how you communicated with your team members, 1 to 5, and how they communicated with you. You're going to look at timeliness. So that means that if there was a deliverable or a task to be done, did you submit it in time? Did you provide your input in time or on time? And then you're going to go down to, did you complete what you were assigned to do? So these are 4 criteria which you're going to evaluate yourself and others. It's going to be teamwork, collaboration, communications, timeliness, and completeness, right? So you do that. So each team member, so if that's not your team, do not rate people that are not on your team. You go to the next page and you have your team. All right, same thing. So all 4 teams are here. And you're going to rate yourself and others. So at the end of the rating, there will be an aggregate rating for each team member, which as I participate with you every week, I get a sense of how the participation and the teamwork, how that's going. I'm going to use my observations as well as your rating to give individual scores for the project. So what that does, it ensures fairness so that 1 or 2 people are not the only ones completing the project. Everyone has a part to play in the project and everyone is responsible for that part. So that's the only way to ensure fairness. I've been dealing with teamwork in class for a long time. I've seen different situations, and this is the way that I've determined that it's the only fair way to grade. If everyone's exceptional, everyone gets the same grade. But if there is any type of disparity, then you will get individual grades for the team project. Any questions about that?
Yes, معلش. I'm sorry, but just to understand it more, should I do this only once or every week I should update it?
You do it at the end of the class.
At the end of the class only?
That's the end. When you finished your team project, it's completed and it's submitted, then you do the evaluation.
Okay.
So it's going to be an overall grade. So I mean, you can take notes as you go through in terms of, you know, you've got the criteria there. You can think about how you're going to assess everybody, including yourself, for the team project. Any other questions? How many of you think this is a fair way to evaluate the team grade? Does it seem like it's fair to you to evaluate each other individually so that everyone is responsible and shows accountability? One person thinks it's fair. How many of you think it's not fair to do this? It's not fair to evaluate each other. Okay. So I'm assuming that you agree that it is the fair way to do it. So let me go ahead and now start the lecture. So this week, it's another critical part of your team assignment that we're going to cover this week. Last week, we talked about the competitive analysis and what you bring into the table in terms of strategies. So that was a critical part of the team assignment. So is this week. So pay attention to this week. Okay. Let me share my screen. First, I'll find my PowerPoint. And I think it's here. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm going to move this over here so in case you guys have questions, I can see it. Let's get back to the screen sharing. Okay. Okay. So this week we're in chapter 5 already. We're moving along in this class. This week we're going to talk about your mission and your strategy. So very important that you communicate a mission publicly so that if I come to your website, on your website, there's a mission. It tells me what you're doing with your business. It not only tells me as an outsider, but it also tells employees what they should be doing on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things that you should be doing is when you look at your competition, which you did the competitive analysis last week, go to their website and see what their mission is. And one of the things that you want to do as a business owner is that you want to make sure that your mission is aligned with what you're doing in the business. Okay. So the mission statement is going to guide the new business. It's going to explain your competitive advantage. We talked about this last time and before that. Your competitive advantage is the thing about you that you're doing that no one else is doing that gives you a competitive or advantage over your competition. And it could be that there's an underserved market. It could be that there's a niche or niche. It could be that your product is very unique or your service is very unique. It could be that you're priced below the competition's price. It could be a lot of reasons that makes you different and gives you an advantage over your competition. So the way to find that is to identify your assets and your capabilities. Your assets are things that you own in the business, such as, if you have a great location. McDonald's Corporation has said that they're not in the business of fast food. They're in the business of real estate because they have historically been known to place their restaurants in the most prime areas with a lot of traffic, a lot of other businesses and so forth. So your assets are physical things you own. Your capabilities are your mental and intellectual capacities. The capabilities we talked about in the first few weeks of class in terms of what you bring to the table, in terms of skills, experiences, and so forth. Okay? You want to find out which of those everyone has, or if you have things that are over and above what other people do, your other competition. We talked about the resource-based analysis last time. We're going to talk about it again today, and that is where the resources that you have is giving you that advantage. And then we're going to determine the best strategy to match your business mission. All right? So let's go. So how many of you know what a mission statement is? Raise your hand if you've seen a mission statement before. And I think most of you are working, so hopefully you've seen the mission statement at your job. Do you guys know what a mission statement is? You can raise your hand or you can come off the mic. So one person is raising their hand. I feel like it's only 2 people in class today. Do you know what the mission statement is for Windsor University? If you don't, I would advise you to do some research. Find out what the mission is. All right. So the mission statement is sometimes it says mission. Sometimes it says vision. Sometimes it's overall strategy. There's a lot of, I hear the driving in the background. It sounds like you're driving. Hello? I can barely hear you.
Professor, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Yes. For actually, I was just commenting about the mission statement for Windsor University. Their mission statement was to provide education online for the people who work on daily basis. So it will be easy for them to attend lectures for MBA and this stuff.
Yes, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. So Nuran knows the mission statement. So should you. If you're investing in a company in terms of university, or if you have a stock portfolio, or if you go to a certain establishment all of the time, you should know what their mission is, and there should be an alignment with their mission and what it is that they're doing. So thank you for that, Nuran. It must be concise and understood by everyone. What Nuran just read or said, everyone understands that. We're going to provide education to those that work every day. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be convenient for me. I can log on anytime I want to. I don't have to sit in a classroom all the time. I can do stuff virtually. And these people care about me as a person that works every day. So that's what I'm going to expect from them. So it keeps the focus on the activities, and that's what you get. That's what the competitive advantage is. So that's what the mission statement does. You need to have the mission statement in your business plan that you will submit as a team. So the mission statement, some of you have visited your team collaboration, and you're very solid and sound on what your mission is. So kudos to you. Your capabilities are what allows you to do things better than your competition. So think about what you're bringing to the table instead of experience, intellect, and so forth. The reason why the capabilities are different than like if you have a restaurant, for example, it's on a piece of land, and there's so much you can do with the restaurant on that piece of land. But in terms of the decor, the services you offer, the type of cuisine that you offer, you might have a Michelin star chef. All this is playing into your capabilities. Okay, so you want to think about within your capabilities, what is that one thing that's going to make you different, better than your competition? So your mission statement should be simple, short, and it applies to the business you're undertaking. It shouldn't be something that's general and it's covers everybody, because you have a specific market. For the mission statement that Nuran read is for a specific market. It's for working adults who want to earn an MBA and who want it to be convenient to them. So there are other, institutions that offer MBAs, and some of it, just off the top of my head, is you've got to be in the classroom live. Some of it is like it's a hybrid, like this is kind of a hybrid, where you can go online and you have a live lecture. Some of it is all recorded. So there's a difference. Yes, Mohammed, you have a question.
Yes, can we have an example of a mission statement for any from the known companies as an example, or even from the Windsor, if Windsor University, and we can apply these 5 at least to understand how this mission statement is, how these 5 factors are seen in any mission statement? Is there any possibility to see something like that?
Okay, did you hear the mission statement that Nuran shared with us?
No.
Okay. She just shared it. She shared Windsor University.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you're having connection issues, but let me go to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, she just shared the mission statement. Let me see. I'm going to the website, and you can do this yourself. You can go to the website and go to the mission statement. So let me bring this over here. Let me share the screen. And remember, the lectures are taped, so you can always go back and listen to it and follow it along. Let me share the mission statement. Actually, I'm going to drop it in the chat. That's probably easier. Okay, let me drop this in the chat. All right, I have a lot of windows open. I just posted the mission statement in the chat. Okay. So it says, let me know if you're able to see it in the chat. It says, Windsor University's mission is to provide convenient and affordable online higher education worldwide using the latest technology and accredited academic programs to empower students to lead in the labor market. So that is the mission statement. It's short, it's simple, it's specific, it's applicable. That means that there's a certain market that this mission statement is targeting. That is going to be someone who's interested in an MBA, who wants it to be convenient and affordable, who wants to use the latest technology. There's some online schools that have very old technology. So this is saying the latest technology, and it's going to empower you to compete in the labor market. So the measurable goals is that if you're in this program, you're going to see that it's convenient. You can measure that it's convenient. It's affordable. That's measurable. Anytime you see the word measurable, it means that you can ascribe a number to it or a rating to it. You're going to get an MBA at the end, and you're going to be able to compete in the labor market. So that's what that is. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. So that's the example. Thank you for the thumbs up. Keep it short. So it should be understandable and memorable. So it's got to talk to your customers, your suppliers, and others, although it's primarily written to guide the employees. So the employees of Windsor, this is what the employees are going to be working towards, this mission here. And that's shared by the president to the organization. And the work that you're doing should align with the mission. Short and direct, clear, succinct, memorable. So even if I don't have it memorized and I'm not looking at the mission, I'm thinking, okay, so MBA students or college students, it's going to be affordable, it's going to be convenient, latest technology, and I'm going to be able to compete in the market, in the labor market. So I know that from reading that, I can take that away from it. So I understand what Windsor University is, what their mission is. Keep it simple and make sure you share it. And that's why most companies have their mission on their website. If you go to About Us, sometimes it's a tab that says Our Mission. So before you even look at what they're offering, they're going to tell you where they're going with their mission, right? It's kind of like a roadmap, if you will. Okay. Simplicity, direct, appropriate. Okay. Straightforward and have a clear meaning. This statement here, I'm kind of like so about it, but it says adjective or descriptive language. Notice that it doesn't say, what did I say? Like convenient. That's descriptive. So I'm kind of like I don't agree with this statement 100%. I believe that you should describe. For example, it says empower students. That's an adjective. So I think you should use it. That's my personal opinion. So you could take that for what it's worth. It does add a punch to the mission statement if you say things like convenient, affordable, latest technology, accredited, empower. These are adjectives, and I think it's fine. So it should be applicable, as I said before, that as a customer, because if I'm an MBA student, I'm a customer, I should find that it applies to me. I can see myself in that mission statement. So it also, as I said earlier, it helps employees to make decisions in the moment. And I'll give you an example that I like to use. So a lot of companies will have mission, vision, strategy, goals, and so forth. And some companies will have words like ethically, especially if they're in a business where being unethical is rampant. So if you have that in your mission, say we're going to provide, let's say it's healthcare, or let's say it's investment. We will provide ethical investment advice to our customers, or we'll provide ethical healthcare to our patients. If you have your mission statement with the word ethical in there, that means that your day-to-day operations is going to be ethical. So the outcome will be ethical. That means that in the moment of making a decision, you don't have to think about it. Like, should I be ethical or not? You're ethical. That's what you have as your mission. And it's like a no-brainer. You're gonna make the right decision. And one of the things that come to mind is the oil tanks that dump stuff in the ocean, and we had a big thing about it several years ago. That incident was not like a one-off where, okay, we're just going to dump all this oil into the ocean. It tells us that in their daily operations, they're operating unethically. So when you see actions like that, it goes back to the mission statement. If we're ethical, if we're an ethical company, organization, everything that we do every day is ethical. So when it's time, when you're faced with a decision, you're not scratching your head and saying, should I do this? How much money are you going to pay me to do this? Let me think about it. It's a no-brainer. You're going to do the right thing. And that applies to you personally. If you're an ethical and moral person, then these decisions, you're not confused when it's time to make an ethical decision. You already know what to do. And the same thing applies to companies. Okay? So that is one of the tenets of authentic transformational leadership. That's what I've told you, that's where I live. It's an authentic transformational leadership, and moral and ethical behavior is part of it. So it helps to guide everyone towards the goals, and it ensures that everyone is heading in the same direction. So if you go to a job interview, one of the things you want to do is look at the organization's mission. You want to research the company before you go on the interview because you want to know things about them. One of the things that I advise people who are looking for jobs is that it's a partnership. You're not going for a handout, like, please help me and hire me. You're coming to the table as a competent and capable individual that's going to partner with this organization to help them achieve their mission. Part of how you do that is to become, you're equipped. Your education, your experience, your writing skills, your speaking skills, but you're also going to learn about the company, learn about what they're doing, and even have some ideas when you go into the interview. I like to call it a meeting because it should be you know, you're being interviewed, but you're also interviewing the interviewer. So you come in there to make sure that your mission aligns with what the company is doing. Some people, and I have friends of mine, or colleagues, who left a company or did not engage with the company because their missions, their personal mission, did not align with the company's mission, where the company might be behaving unethically, and that person says, well, my standards is not to be unethical, so I cannot engage with this company. So you want to make sure everyone is in the same direction. You're signed on to the mission, and you are going. When I was with General Electric, which is a big corporation, it's global, and I was in B school like you are now, and I was a project manager in B school. And I knew the mission for the company, but as I continued in the MBA program, I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So then my personal mission no longer aligned with GE, so that we parted ways. So that it could align in the beginning, and then later it's like, okay, we're not going in the same direction. I don't want to be an employee anymore. I want to be a business owner. So be specific. As I said before, Windsor's mission is very specific. It's speaking to a specific person about specific offerings. Okay. If there are any limitations, you should note that. So limitations mean that we're doing this, we're not doing that, right? So we could say for Windsor, we're offering an MBA, but not a bachelor's. Or we're offering an MBA and a doctorate, but not a bachelor's, or not an associate. Okay. So again, moving forward, alignment, very important. Now, when you do your business plan, your audience is investors. So the investors are going to look at your mission and say, you know, my mission as an investor does not align, or it does align. That's why I recommended you guys watch Shark Tank, because one of the things that the sharks say when someone comes up and pitches, you know, they have a business idea, they need an investment, and a shark, which is a member of the Shark Tank, not a real shark, a person will say, you know, my mission for my business is not aligned with yours, and for that reason, I'm out. So it keeps everyone, again, understanding what specifically you're doing and to see if there's an alignment. Very important for investors. You want to establish measurable goals, and these are metrics, numbers, right? So you can rate, just like the team evaluation is based on numbers. We can measure your communication. We can measure your collaboration. We can measure your timeliness. We can measure your completeness. You want to establish goals. And sometimes the goals are in the mission statement, or they might be a separate statement with your goals. Okay. So it's a way to see if someone is meeting the goals internally. Sometimes people are let go because, you know, the company will say, we find that where we're going with the company, that you're no longer a fit, if you will. And it's a way for the people on the outside to measure the organization. So you, as an MBA student, you can measure whether Windsor is convenient, whether it's affordable, whether it's worldwide, whether it's using the latest technology, whether you're getting accredited academic programs, and whether you're being empowered. You can measure that on a scale of 1 to 5. How empowered do I feel? Scale of 1 to 5. How convenient is it? Okay. So you can have quantitative, which are numbers, and qualitatives, which are like words, like good, fair, poor, or what have you. Okay. So what happens with the goals is that you measure it initially, but you continually measure it as you move forward. Muhammad asked earlier if you should do the team evaluation every week, or should you do it at the end? And you should keep in mind what you're going to be measuring, but you're going to submit it at the end. So you want to keep in mind, because that grade at the end is not something that is just one and done. It's accumulation of your communication skills, accumulation of your timeliness, and what is that overall? Okay, so these goals measure your business mission. It measures, are you achieving your mission or not? So in terms of your mission statement, we talk about your market. So you want to know, where do your customers get their news from? What endorsements should you consider? And endorsements means that, like celebrity endorsement, you have a celebrity that comes on and says, you know, I use this product and it's great, or what have you. So it has an impact on your advertising. Location, whether you're virtual or whether you are BAM, brick and mortar. And it also speaks to your staffing. So based on your mission statement, it's going to describe the size, the style, the sophistication, and the approach of your staffing. If you're offering a high-end restaurant, for example, you want a top chef. So there's a sophistication that's involved in this. Okay. Again, be clear about how you will compete. Be clear about which market you will compete in and which ways you'll compete. And all that is said in Windsor's mission statement. They're telling you which market they are going to compete in and how they're going to compete. All right. Any questions about the mission statement before we continue? Are you clear about how to create your mission statement for your business? Take that as a yes. So we talked about competitive. Yes, there's a delay. I see your thumbs. There's a delay. We're across the oceans. So your competitive advantage. Sustainable means that it's not that you come on the market with a low price, but you can't sustain it because you're going to go out of business because your expenses are greater than your income. It means that you can sustain that advantage. So it's something that others cannot easily copy. So usually something unique that you offer, usually something that you have a niche market or niche market that you are attracting. So again, sustainable. So as the industries change over time, and that does happen over time where the industries change, a lot of things as you've noticed over the past few years, it has a virtual component to it. So no matter what businesses we're doing, a lot of them now are doing it virtually. Even if you can't eat virtually, you can order your stuff virtually and have it delivered to you or come and pick it up. So businesses do change and you have to adapt to the changes. So you got to make sure that your competitive advantage is sustainable. Okay. In terms of your capabilities as an individual, think about it. And I'll use the Project Management Institute as an example. If you're PMP certified, it's not one and done. Every 3 years, you have to have some type of education, continuing education, because the markets do change. Project management does change, and you got to be up at the level of what you did. So in order to maintain your PMP certification, you've got to continually take classes because things do change. So a lot of times businesses that go out of business is because they don't change. They keep doing the same thing, and you know what happens next. So what's the key? Having a deep understanding of your customer's need. If you look at the Windsor mission statement, they have an understanding that their customers need affordable, convenient. And just because it's affordable doesn't mean it's cheap, because sometimes you'll see that in the marketplace. This is affordable. It means it's cheap quality. You have to, as a business, determine what is it going to take for you to bring quality goods and services that's affordable. And one of them, I'll give you an example. What airlines do, because airlines need fuel, at least for now, is that they'll get into a long-term fuel agreement with a fuel company, so that, let's say the fuel, and I have no idea of what this is, I'm just spurting out numbers, but the concept is valid. Let's say the fuel is $2,000 a gallon, if you will, which sounds a lot, but anyway, what the airlines do is that they'll lock in that price for the fuel for 5 years or for 10 years, so that they can pay that same amount for 5 to 10 years, even though the market might fluctuate. Oil prices might, escalate and so forth. So one of the ways to sustain that pricing is to contracts. And you see companies do that too with lesser price things. Like if you buy this item, I think Amazon does this with a subscription, then you have this low price that you pay if you're subscribing versus paying it outside of the subscription. Okay. Your relationship with your customers, and that's you understanding your customers. One thing that companies do is they have these focus group with their customers on a regular basis, so that they can hear from the customer, this is what you're doing well, this is what needs to be improved. The other thing that you do internally in the organization is you have a focus group for your employees. I call employees internal customers. You have two types of customers, internal customers and external customers. Your internal customers are your employees. So you also want to do focus groups with them. What are we doing well? What could be improved? And make it so that it's anonymous, so people feel free to say what they need to say. Okay. So this is why we the third bullet point, this is why we listed our competitive advantage before we developed our mission statement, because that advantage is going to help us build the mission statement. Okay. So some of you have already identified your competitive advantage. So number one, you have a list of your business assets and capabilities. And you can either have them now or it's something that's proposed. You're proposing to have it. You have two groups, and I'm going to show you an example of this. Standard expectations and potentials that could be advantages. And then look at the ones that could be advantages. So for example, let's talk about these two things here, and then I'll show you the table. Tangible things are things that you can actually touch and feel, right? A building, equipment, materials, all right? Intangible is things that are not physical, but are critical, such as there's a key supplier. Say somebody's supplying your tea for your coffee shop. You have a great relationship with them. You actually entered into a long-term contract with them to supply tea at this rate for 5 years. Or they might say, instead of paying us every 30 days, you could pay us every 60 days. So those types of relationships are intangible. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is a table. This is something that might be helpful in your business plan as well, is to put a table like this in that presentation. So tangible assets are things that are physical assets: building, equipment, money or financing, inventory, if you have a patent on something, software, if you're going to build out the facility, if you're going to add more walls, more rooms, etc. And then these are intangible. In a lot of cases, when you're an entrepreneur, you have stronger intangible than tangible, because these are all things you can buy and you need money to buy it and you're looking for financing. But this is what you're bringing to the table. Industry experience, you have contacts, you have startup experience, you have an education that's aligned with what you're trying to do. You have knowledge of the industry, and that's from research. And you've done a lot of research already about the industry that you're going to start your business in, and you're continuing to do that. Your skill set, your presentation skills, because you're selling. When you present, you're selling. Okay. If you're innovative, we talked about risk taking early in the class. If you're innovative or risk averse, and the name brand, that's an intangible asset. Okay. So then you're going to split the list into standard, expectations, and something that's a competitive advantage. So for example, if you have an office, you should have computer systems, telephone, etc. Excellent customer service, although it's rare sometimes, it is an expectation. If I'm coming into your business or I'm engaging in business, I expect excellent customer service. It doesn't matter if I'm paying $5 or $50,000. But we miss that, especially in I'm not just going to say the US. I think in terms of customer service, we actually excel at that. And I've traveled to a lot of different countries, and there was a disconnect with the customer service. Now, across the board, if you go to a 5-star hotel, or if you have a company that has a presence in another company, the expectations are the same, are aligned. But customer service is huge. And because it is lacking, although it's an expectation, it's something that you can bring to the table, where people will return to you over and over again because your customer service was excellent. We have grocery chains here in Georgia. One of them is a global chain. And if you go into that supermarket and you ask them, say, I'm looking for bottled water. I don't know where the bottled water is. Where is it? And the customer service person will point you someplace and say, go down there, make a right, do this and that and the other. One of his competitors, and let me back up, this supermarket has a low price advantage. That means that their stuff is lower than this other supermarket, where if you go in that other supermarket whose prices are a bit higher and you ask, where is the bottled water? That person's going to walk you to where the water is. And they'll say things like, what brand are you looking for? And if you say a certain brand they don't stock, they will even say, let's see if we can stock that water for you. So you're paying a premium, but you're getting a higher level of customer service, which should not be the case. You should have great customer service. That's what I want to point that out. But customer service is where a lot of people are getting that advantage. Like, people return to your restaurant. Sometimes the food is horrible, but the customer service is great, and you just go back. You like it. So think about that. So this is an online entertainment Steam where you can rent, buy, and sell games. Sometimes you go to the games. They're doing this a lot more, where it's just playing games, but now they say you can rent it, you can buy it, or you can sell it. And there's even more. You can stream the games, you can have online discussions, and even more. It's just not playing games. They've expanded to include an experience. All right. So first mover is where you're first to the market with a certain idea. And I know one of the teams has something like that, where you have an idea that's you're the first. And then these are early adopters, if you will. If you think about the diffusion of innovation model, you have early adopters, and then you have a slew of other people. Then you have late adopters, and then followers. After the first person makes a move, then you copy that, and then you go into the market. There's nothing wrong with either one, because the followers make sure that you make your mistakes, and I'll learn from your mistakes, and then I enter the market. And then the first movers, they've got to get it right. So if you get it right and you get into the market, you get customer loyalty. How many of you have loyalty to a product or service because they were the first ones in the market, right? On the other hand, people who are the first in the market, sometimes they exploit that. People like or companies like Henry Ford Motor Company, they were first to the market Well, actually, they weren't the first, but they were the first publicized to the market. I believe the Japanese had something. They were first. But, you know, sometimes you got to rewrite history. But in terms of marketing, they were well known. And they refused to budge off the one model they had. The founder actually said they can have any color they want as long as it's black. And then, you know, the followers were like, okay, let's offer red and green and whatever. So they kind of stayed the way they were because they were first and they rested on that. But then the competition came and blew them away. So got to be careful with that. So we talked about, you know, special relationships, location, you know, like McDonald's has great locations. Wherever they're located is a lot of traffic, a lot of hungry people that want junk food. So location. Location, again, the competitive advantage cannot be easily substituted or matched by competitors. So that list I showed you, examine it. Decide which ones are the best ones to center on. And then once you do that, then that's what you're going to compete in the marketplace. Economic rents. This is I don't know if you've heard this term before, but it's a term that means that you're getting more for something than the market. You know, the market is what establishes costs, supply and demand, right? So let's say in the US, we have what we call unions in a lot of industries, telecommunications, in the movie industry, and they pay a premium. So for example, if you can engage a plumber for $100 an hour, because they're in the union, it's $150. So the rent is the difference. So it's a $50 rent. It's an excess. So you want to make sure that you have rent. So if you have certain costs, you want to make sure that first of all you match the norm, okay? But you can get some type of additional rent. So maybe you get lower costs because you're buying more of a product, or you have a certain relationship, or you have a contract. So even though the fuel is $2,000 or $2,500, you go into a contract, so now it's $2,000 for 5 years. So you want to see where you can actually get that. For resource-based analysis, you're trying to find your unique advantage. So you want to look at your resources. Is it rare? Can you substitute it easily? Is it durable? Can it last a long time? And is it valuable? So look at all your resources and answer these questions. And the ones that have the most yeses are the ones that you should use as your competitive advantage. So here's a resource-based analysis. So resources again are things that that you have in terms of location or materials, pricing, so forth. So if it's rare, it means that few firms have it. So this is an example, only 4 businesses on a busy intersection. So if it's busy, there's only 4 businesses, then that's a plus. Non-substitutable means that you cannot substitute this for anything else. It cannot be easy to replace. So you want to think about a car, an antique car. Can you use new parts on an antique cars? So if you're able to do that, then it's, if you're not able to do that, it's non-substitutable. So if you have antique cars and there are no parts that you can use on the antique car because it's old and those parts are no longer being made, then you can't substitute it. It's durable. Durable means that's the length of time before they can match your offering. So what happens with competition is that as they watch the market and they see you doing something, they're going to copy you. Okay. So you want to consider that. Is it valuable? Will they pay more for your service? So, and if they will, why will they pay more? Okay. Let's talk about your strategy. How do you develop and exploit your competitive advantages? So now that you've identified what your competitive advantage is, now you're going to exploit them. So what strategy do you need to differentiate yourself? What strategy do you need to differentiate yourself from your competition? Okay. So you have 3 ways to be different than your competition. Low cost, that means that you come in low cost. You're different, or you focus in a particular market. So those 3 things. That we have low cost, we're different, or we focus in a particular market, or you can do all 3. Okay, so think about that in your strategy. So how do you develop a strategy? The first thing is to look at your mission, right? How are you going to compete? What capabilities you have to meet each part of the mission? And how can you provide above average returns? That means that you're having a better profit than the industry. If the industry says the industry is like $1 profit per bottle of whatever, you can get $1.25 for it. So what strategy are you going to put in place to get that extra 25 cents per bottle? And you want to always evaluate your strategy. There's a point in here. Sorry, I missed it. So Winnie asked a great question. I know location is key, but what if you aren't able to locate an ideal place when starting your business? Is it advisable to start with what you find, or something like a restaurant? Yes. Yes. You can build up to that. And then you want to make a case, Winnie, for why they would come to your location and not go to those other locations. So you might have different things in the interior, the way it's designed, the service you offer, and so forth. So continually evaluate your strategy. So this is an example. So let's say your mission is a gourmet restaurant. Your strategy is to have high-end, well-known chefs, because your chef can make and break your restaurant. Make or break. So what are you going to do? I'm going to hire a chef from one of the top schools. So the end result is that the result you desire is that you're recognized in the community. You can have a TV spot on the news each week, about the chef in the restaurant. Who is responsible for this? The founder. The founder is you guys who are founding this business. All right. So this is an example of a strategy. Notice the strategy is derived directly from the mission. And remember that you don't have to have these stuff in place. You can just say, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to hire a chef. You don't have to have a chef in place already. You have a mechanism to hire a top chef. All right. So how do you apply your strategy? There has to be a list of activities around your mission, right? So let me go back to this. This is your mission, and these are the activities around it. And the activities is going to drive your strategy and your mission. So notice we go from general to less general to more specific. So that's how it trends. General, more detail, even more detail. Okay. Great table for you to have in your business plan. So that is it for this week's lecture on the mission and the strategy. I think there's some great information in this chapter in terms of how to create your mission and your associated values. Any questions about the lecture? Anyone have any questions? We're going to take a break after this. Anybody have any questions? Questions or comments?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
But not about the lecture, about the whole subject. Maybe I'm from that kind of people who would like to see the whole subject, and slowly we finish one after one after one, so at least I can attach all the information together, or I can see at least the overall picture, and then I can see what is the first step, sorry, what is this step and what is the next one, and where it is located inside the business plan that we are forming. So maybe I forgot, but do we have some general information?
We do.
General
we have a business plan template. Yeah, we have a business plan template that we're going to use. In addition, in your text, there's a sample business plan that I went over the first week. So go back to the first lecture.
Yes.
And you'll see me go through the business plan from the text. The presentation template that I showed you last week and previous weeks has the sections of the business plan. One of them is your mission, right?
Yes.
One of them is evaluate your competition. So if you look at the template, you know where to put the aspects of the lecture in it. And I will call it out in the lecture as I've been doing, that this goes into your business plan.
Okay, I think I will print it and I will just keep it in front of me, so at least I can attach everything together, so I can see that.
So when you meet with your teams, which you're going to meet shortly, pull up the template and see the information that you have already. See where it fits in the template.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to do a short poll while you're thinking of your question, because I want to settle on how long our break should be. I have a word cloud. We have a half an hour, up to half an hour. So let me find out from each of you. We've had a half an hour a couple of times. In the last week, it was too long, and we were able to break a little early. So I'm putting up a word cloud. I want you to write a number in the word cloud. How long what's the optimal break? We definitely want to take a break. So no break is not an option. 0 is not an option. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I see the word min, but no number. So I need a number in there, like a number. Okay. I got 30, I got 15. I need everyone to participate. So this can be demographic. This can be democratic. That's what's a demographic. And what I'll do is I'll take the average. And once I get everyone's participation, I will tell you what the time will be. And then we can make up the time at the end. All right, let's make sure everybody has their responses in. I think I need 2 more responses. Okay. Let's see. All right, so the winner is 15 minutes. So are you guys okay to do 15 minutes and get 15 minutes, leave 15 minutes early? Are you okay with that? Raise your hand if you are. If not, we're going to resort to 30 minutes. Everyone needs to vote. If you don't vote, we will do 30 minutes. So everyone needs to vote on this. See? Okay. Neuron, I'm going to put another poll in because people are not responding. Mansoor, Olia.
I have responded. I have no problem. Yes.
Okay. Let's
Yes,
see.
don't worry.
Ahmed, is Ahmed here? Liziat?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. Olaya? Samia? Samia has a hand up. I see your hand. Okay. Ezgi, Olina, Mohammed, Saif, Judalyn, Atinuk, and Cole. Okay. So let's do 15 minutes. It's 11:24. Let's call it 11:25. So let's say what's 15 and 25 quickly for $1 million? What's 15 and 25? First answer.
40.
Yes.
It's
You get
40.
1 million. You know the movie $1 million. All right, so let's get back here at 11:40, and we'll join up in our teams and do some things. Thank you. Questions? I see some hands raised. Anybody have any questions? Okay, two things. I'm going to open up the team rooms. Thank you, Elia. I see your message. Thank you. And I'm going to post this week's questions, which is going to help you to develop your mission, right? The business plan, there's a sample business plan in the text. I'll put it in the chat. It's on page 313. Some of the aspects of the business plan we have not covered as yet. So the parts that we've covered is the competition, the mission, and the strategy, as we did today. And the previous weeks were just weeks to try to put your team together. So you got your team members and you got their responsibilities. So when you read through the plan, you'll see these sections in the plan. It's called Freudian Slip is the name of the company. That's a sample business plan that you can review. Again, there's a PowerPoint template that I provided for you, which simplifies the business plan so that you don't have to do a lot of work. But it kind of captures what your business idea is and how you can execute it. So sample plan, page 313. Again, we haven't covered everything on that sample business plan as yet. That's why it's presented at the end, but you can look at it and get a good idea of what needs to be communicated in the presentation, and look at the PowerPoint template as a guide to what should be included in the plan. All righty. Any questions before we go to our respective rooms? Anybody have any questions or comments? Let's check my
So, Professor, I have one question about the sample plan.
Mhm.
I did see that earlier when before you had put in the PowerPoint, but now I don't see it on the Moodle. If we click on that business plan, it uploads that same PDF in the same deck template in the presentation, but it's no longer that sample plan which we had it earlier there, I guess.
Okay, let me take a look at that. As a matter of fact, let's do it now so we're on the same page.
Sure,
So
thank you.
let me share my screen. I did make some updates last week because I think there were some questions about, I had several templates up there, and I think I resorted to just one. So let's just make sure. All right, let's go to Moodle. Let me share my screen. Alrighty, so I'm on the Moodle site. This is your classroom. And if I go down to the business plan templates, which is what you're referring to.
Yes, so this one, if we upload this one, this is the same presentation in the PDF. And the below one, I guess, I didn't try that, but that one is definitely saying PowerPoint. So I think these both are PowerPoint, but that one is in PDF. It's not the same one which we had it earlier with more details about the business plan.
Yeah. So this one is a simplified version. So feel free to use another template if you want to, but I want to make sure that all the things that we're covering in class, you're able to put it in the plan. So again, here's a part for the mission statement. Your team should already be together. Okay. You've looked at the market to assess your competition and so forth. And then you're looking at opportunities. Your business idea is your opportunity. And then we've got you describing your business concept. This is the competition. We did that last week. And this is where you can actually put in your that little competitive map thing. Your goals and objectives are based on your mission, so that the goals and objectives should expand on the mission. So you 5 years. We talked about measurable ways in today's lecture. How are you going to measure? If we think about Windsor, we're saying, it's low cost. How do we measure that? Well, other schools are offering the same thing for this cost and so forth. So, yeah. So this is more simpler than the one before. If you wanted to use the one before, you're okay to use that. And the example that the Freudian slip uses is also, it has different stuff or more stuff, but this is pretty much what you need to know about your business. This is what your investors need to know. And these are the stuff we're covering in class. So you should be okay.
No, definitely this sounds, that we are on the same page, because we were having within the team, we were having some discussions about the previous plan and this plan. So I think somebody shared the previous one. That's why I was like confused that that is no longer on the Moodle. So yeah, I think I'm clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you want to use the previous one, feel free to do that. If you've already began working it, feel free to do that. Okay.
No, we haven't. Actually, it was just shared. So we were having discussions. I think this is more simpler. Thank you so much.
Yes, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that you you get all that you need, but you're efficient about it. So in project management, for those of you taking project management, it's progressive elaboration. As you move through the project, things become clearer and you adjust accordingly. Okay. All right. Again, the sample plan is on page 313 in your text. Check it out. I reviewed it already in class. I did that in week 1's lecture. So if you haven't seen week 1's lecture or you weren't here, I would advise you to go back and look at week 1 as I walk through the plan. And I'll walk through it again later, probably after I do the financial stuff, which is coming up. But you can still do it on your own compared to what we've learned so far and what's in the sample template. Does everyone know where to get the recordings from the lecture each week? Does everyone know where to get those recordings? So if you missed a lecture, do you know where to go back and find the recordings? If you do not, raise your hand if you do not. Okay, Lizette? So
Yes,
you don't know where to get
I couldn't find the lecture.
Okay, so I believe that the lectures are on YouTube. Is that correct?
Not yet.
Yes,
where?
yes, it is on the Windsor channel.
Yes.
Lizette, you can find them on the chat where everybody texts. So there's a folder when you go to Teams. So there's one for the entrepreneurship, and there's one for the selling skills, and there's one for organizational leadership. So you can go into those chats, and you can find the recording every week. You can check it now.
Yes, I'm trying. Just a second.
And you should also be able to check it on Teams, right? Have you guys checked it on Teams? Like after the class is over, you come back to the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's there
that's
as well.
what I've been explaining. Yes.
Yeah. And I believe they put it out on YouTube. It's not me that does it, so I don't know when it's out there, but I believe it's on YouTube as well. On the school's YouTube channel. Matter of fact, let me see. While you're doing that.
Yes, that I put a link on the WhatsApp group where you can look into, and you will find that all the lectures, or you will find the Windsor actually channel on YouTube. So all the lectures are stored there. So just look at or try to look into the link I just added. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Lisa.
And you put the YouTube link in the chat as well?
Yeah, I put it actually on the WhatsApp group, but I can put it to the chat as well. Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that way I see the lecture up here as well. Okay.
Yes, I think Sarah has added it right now.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Okay, so the link is there. You see, it's on Teams. It's on YouTube, not YouTube's. YouTube University. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. And let me bookmark this so I'm able to have it. Okay. Okay. So this week, you're going to be collaborating in your teams to come up with a mission for your company. And these are the questions I'm going to post in your individual team rooms. I just posted it in the chat So based on today's lecture, and make sure that you're reading the chapter as well. Do not depend solely on the lecture for your knowledge about entrepreneurship or any other class. Make sure that you're reading the lecture yourself. The more times you touch information, the more it'll sink in. So the first question is, what are the core resources and capabilities of the business you're thinking about? Which of them do you believe are standard? And remember that little table that I showed you? Which of those do you believe has all of the elements that we talked about, durability, etc.? And then based on that, you can write your mission statement. And that's the statement I made earlier, is that you think about all this stuff first before you write your mission statement, okay? So let's open up the rooms. And I believe that I'm on the web version of this, so I might need to go to the desktop version. Let's see. I think I need to go to the desktop version, so please give me a moment to load it. I was trying to load it earlier and it was not cooperating. All right, so I'm gonna leave this chat and join you briefly over here. And I'm gonna go to I'm going to open up your rooms and I'm going to post the questions in your room and I'll be visiting you. So let's see. So as the rooms open, you'll be redirected there. And I'll be by to visit. John, are you what team are you on?
Yes, Professor. My connection was lost, Professor.
Oh, you're getting back in. Okay. All right, got you. All right.
Yeah, Professor.
Let's see. So you're in team 2?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. I need to. Give me 1 second, okay?
Yes, Professor.
Hello, Lizette. Hello.
Yes, Professor.
I need you to sign in with your Windsor account.
Yes, I know I have this problem. I wrote to Sarah that I cannot log in through to Teams using my login and password. She told me that she will solve this problem, but still I think it's not
Okay.
because I cannot log in to. I can use. I can log into Teams only using some links. But not with my password and Windsor email.
Okay, I'm going to assign you to the room now with your guests, so you should be going over there in a second, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
What happened?
We're back to the main group.
Yes.
Yes. So we can meet in WhatsApp.
Yes,
The
I
week-
will share in
yeah.
WhatsApp. Yes, okay.
Do that. Yes. Thank you.
So you guys got, if you guys ever watch Star Trek, you got teleported back into the main room.
Yes.
Any questions about your team collaboration this week? Anybody have any questions?
Yes, we could not understand exactly what does it mean immobility.
Immobility. Does anyone want to answer that question? Immobility?
We could answer the
think
others, the
not
value, sustainability.
Movable.
Rodas, go ahead.
I think not movable.
Yeah.
No, Rodas, we understand it's the definition of immobility.
Oh.
In the context of business, how we can really make our business not movable or concrete, that's the question.
Okay,
Is
so
did we understand that meaning correctly, Professor, or not?
Okay, so when you say not movable, are you talking about a physical location or are you talking about your strategy?
No, actually, we were talking about the four remember, the four items which we were discussing, that the value, the sustainability, and the immobility and something like that. So our project was having its value, it having, and sustainability is having, but we couldn't understand what does it mean immobility to be able to say that how we can make our project immobile. I mean, having this word.
Your business, yeah. So there are different ways to look at it. Sometimes when you invest capital into a business, like say, for example, your business is to, and I use this example in class before, during COVID, if you were making cars, automobiles, it's very difficult to exit that industry because you can only make cars with the equipment and the infrastructure. So you got to just do that. You can't switch to something else, right? But the companies that were making bottled water or perfume, they switched over and started making disinfectant or sanitizers, if you will. So you got to look at the factors that's going to keep you locked into where you are in terms of your strategy or your infrastructure. Okay.
Yeah, that's my understanding is, Professor, so I think I'm good.
Okay, good. All right. Any other questions? All righty. I did visit all of the teams as I do every week. You guys are really doing a great job. I'm glad to see the collaboration. I'm getting messages during the week that it's great to collaborate on this global level, if you will. And don't underestimate the power of what you're doing in class, because it can easily become something that happens outside of class. Just maybe not the same concept, but just the way that you're thinking and approaching things, it's transferable. It's not immobile, it's mobile. So this can be transferred, right? Everything that's in here. So I wanted to drop in the chat quickly what you got to do for your individual assignment. It's kind of fun because you actually do this. Most of you're visiting businesses like almost every day. So in your neighborhood, you can do a little interview with the owner, and you can actually call them to talk about, their mission statement. If you can't do that, go to their website. And if you're not able to do that, if they don't have it on their website, you can surmise based on what they're offering as a business, what their mission statement would be. So think about someplace where you go all the time, if you will. That'll make it easier. All right. So here's the interesting part of it. Based on what they say that there is their mission, you're going to do a mission statement based on your experience, which may or may not align with what their mission statement is. So this is what they say their mission is. This is what my experience is. There's an alignment or there's a misalignment. Okay. And then the next question is, you're going to look at what makes them unique in respects to their competition. Okay. So think about a business that you frequent all the time. It's a grocery store, gas station, clothing store, alterations, restaurant, what have you, and just kind of walk through these questions and answer those. This is going to be easy and fun. Any questions about the individual exercise questions that you have? Any questions about that? Understood?
We hope so.
Okay. If you're able to see the questions in the chat, read through it and let me know if you understand what it is that you're supposed to do. And if you're not, let me know, and I will clarify it for you. So again, you go into a business, you're going to ask them for their mission statement. If you're not able to do that, you're going to go to their website and see where their mission statement is. You're going to visit that place, and based on what that mission statement is, you're going to craft a mission statement yourself and see if it matches. So for example, if the mission is, we provide excellent customer service to all our customers and no waiting time if you go to a restaurant. And let's say you go to the restaurant and the customer service wasn't excellent and you had to wait 15 minutes. Then you notice that there's a misalignment, and maybe that mission statement should be revised. And that's what you're going to present. So that should be fun. I will tell you this, as a college student, getting information from people is very, very easy, because they want to feel helpful, because they realize that you're not their competition, so they don't have to hide anything from you. But if you say, I'm a college student and I'm studying, business, and I have some questions, do you have a couple minutes? You can call them or write them, but you always want to make sure you say, this is only going to take, 2 minutes of your time, because obviously they're busy, right? Because they're running a business. This will take 2 minutes of your time. Another if you will, is to say, I'm doing a brief survey, and I have a couple questions for you. So that's how you can endear them to you and to your purpose. So make sure you leverage all of the skills, especially when I was in college, I got people to answer a lot of questions because I was a student. All right. I did open up the week 4 assignment because there were some questions about it, and the quiz. So you have an option to go back in and redo the assignment or add to it or modify it. Again, just to be clear, the assignment's purpose is to hone your communication skills, especially writing, which is very important in a professional career, is that you're able to communicate in writing as well as speaking, but in this case, it's writing. So that is the purpose of it. Be sure, as I said, to use Grammarly. Be sure to use the template that was provided. If I'm saying the same thing every week in terms of my feedback and you're not responding to it, then your grade is going to reflect it. So I've given you like now 5 weeks to be able to do those 2 things, to use Grammarly and make sure it's in the template. So make sure that for the next assignment you submit, that those are in place. So we're going to go because we owe ourselves 15 minutes. I'm going to dismiss the class. However, if you need to hang out and ask me any questions, feel free to do that. Have a great week. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. Do you guys celebrate Valentine's Day there in your country? Or is it just Americans trying to spend more money? You do? Okay.
No, we do. Yes.
Okay, good. Well,
thank you.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. And remember that the greatest love of all is to love yourself.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too.
That's the greatest, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. So love yourselves, love each other, and I will see you guys next week. And if you want to hang out, I'm here to answer questions. So bye, y'all.
Thank you, Professor. Happy Valentine's Day.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.
Patricia, I just want to ask you something.
Yes, I see your hand up. Yes.
Yes. So because this week I'm traveling. Actually, I'm today I'm in South Africa.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
So I left Cairo yesterday. I am in South Africa today. I'm in Johannesburg, and I will be staying the whole week for a business trip. So I will not have the time to spend time with an entrepreneur or something like that, or to have a business owner and to discuss with him. But I did I took an appointment actually with one of the business owners on Tuesday next week when I will come back from the trip. I just already took with him an appointment that I want to sit with him. I want to start with him I want to know how he started and what are the difficulties he faced, what is his statement of the mission statement, and a lot of things really. So my appointment with him is Tuesday by 6 o'clock next week, inshallah, when I will return back from South Africa. Okay. So maybe I will not be able to just to add the answer this week, but for sure I will add it maybe by Tuesday evening or maximum Wednesday morning next week. Okay.
Yeah, that works. That'll be good. I'm glad you have an opportunity to actually sit with someone and gain from their experience. That's invaluable. So that's a good deal.
Yes. Okay, great. Just I wanted to say like this. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Have a great week and the rest of your weekend for those that are not too far ahead.